Divorce. Mandatory disclosure. Reviewing the components of mandatory disclosure. What is mandatory disclosure? Mandatory disclosure is an important process that takes place during the discovery period of a divorce case. It requires each party in a family matter to provide the other party with certain financial information and documents. What are the components of mandatory disclosure? The components of mandatory disclosure include the financial affidavit, tax returns, proof of income and income statement, loan documents, deeds, notes, and promissory notes, bank statements, brokerage statements, deferred compensation and virtual currency, insurance policies, corporate tax returns, marital agreements and personal property, and finally, child or spousal support. What counts as income? Income, with the exception of veterans' disability or reemployment benefits, is defined as any form of recurring payment to an individual regardless of source. The financial affidavit form provides a thorough listing of what should be included when calculating your gross income. Currently displayed are the requirements of the financial affidavit as to calculating the monthly gross income. Financial affidavit. For a calculated gross income less than $50,000, you will use Form 12.902B. For a calculated gross income more than $50,000, you will use Form 12.902C. A financial affidavit is a legal document that lists a person's income, debts, assets, expenses, and other financial obligations to prove how much money they have, in this case, for the purpose of discovery during a divorce. Tax returns. A tax return is a form on which a person or organization presents an account of income and circumstances used by the tax authorities to determine liability for taxes. All tax returns filed or tax transcripts for the past 3 years should be included in your mandatory disclosure. If you have not filed tax returns, submit instead your W-2 form, 1099, and K-1 documents for those years. Proof of income. Proof of income is typically a combination of tax forms provided by an employer as well as your latest bank statements. Tax forms include W-2s, 1099s, and other tax forms that document the income you earn in a particular year. A document that summarizes an employee's pay for pay period, including gross earnings, deductions, and net pay, is known as a pay stub. For this component, submit pay stubs or evidence of earned income for the past 6 months. Income statement. An income statement for an individual, also known as a personal income statement or personal financial statement, tracks the flow of money into and out of an account over time. A pay stub is a document that summarizes an employee's pay for a pay period. If a pay stub cannot be provided, a list identifying the amount and source of all income received in the past 6 months may replace it. Loan documents. A loan is a financial agreement where one party, the lender, agrees to give money to another party, the borrower, in exchange for the borrower agreeing to a set of terms and conditions. They come in many forms, including credit cards, mortgages, auto loans, and student loans. Loan applications, financial statements, credit reports, financial aid forms, or any document used for the purpose of obtaining credit or loans in the last 24 months are also a requirement of mandatory disclosure. Deeds, notes, and promissory notes. A deed is a legal document that transfers ownership of a property to a buyer, also known as the grantee. A note is a document entailing a contract where a party makes a promise to pay a sum of money to another party under specific terms. All deeds showing ownership of property held in the last 3 years, as well as all promissory notes or leases showing money owed in the last 24 months, must be submitted. Additionally, notes and leases include any trust or guardianship where you received a payment in the last 3 years or own an interest are also required. Bank statements. A bank statement is an official document that summarizes a bank account's financial activity over a specific period of time, usually 1 month. These provide information like deposits, withdrawals, transfers, fees, credited interest, spending habits, unauthorized transactions, errors, and overdraft fees. For the purposes of mandatory disclosure, one must provide bank statements for the past 12 months where your name appears as an account holder, including joint accounts. Copies of all canceled checks and registers for the past 12 months should also be included. Brokerage statements. A brokerage account is an investment account that allows an investor to buy and sell various investments such as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, etc. Your brokerage account statement is the official document for complete information pertaining to your account's value, holdings, and activity. Mandatory disclosure calls for all brokerage statements for the past 12 months where your name appears as an account holder. Deferred compensation. Deferred compensation is an arrangement in which a portion of an employee's wage is paid out at a later date after which it was earned. Examples of deferred compensation include pensions, retirement plans, and employee stock options. Mandatory disclosure calls for the statements from IRAs, 401ks, profit-sharing plans, SEPs, KEOGHs for the past 12 months. Virtual currency. Virtual currency is a digital representation of value that can be used as a medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. It can be used to buy and sell goods and services, and can be exchanged for other virtual currencies or real currencies like the US dollar. As for this component, you will need all virtual currency statements for the past 12 months, indicating holdings of Bitcoin, Ethereum, NFTs, or any other digital currency. Insurance policies. In insurance, the insurance policy is a contract between the insurer and the policyholder, which determines the claims which the insurer is legally required to pay. In exchange for an initial payment, known as the premium, the insurer promises to pay for a loss caused by perils covered under the policy language. The necessary policy statement inclusions for mandatory disclosure are the declarations page, last statement page, and certificate of insurance. This must be done for all life insurance policies, health insurance, and dental insurance policies for the past 12 months. Corporate tax returns. The corporate tax rate is a tax levied on a corporation's profits, collected by a government as a source of income. A tax return is a form on which a person or organization presents an account of income and circumstances used by the tax authorities to determine liability for taxes. Mandatory disclosure requires that you state any corporate partnership and trust tax returns for the past 3 years, if you have an interest in a corporation, partnership, or trust. Marital agreements and personal property. A marital agreement is an agreement that addresses the rights and responsibilities of two parties in a marriage. It can provide information regarding divided property, shared property, or holdings and how they should be handled in case of a dissolution of marriage or divorce. This component does not have a set time from which you must gather documents, but instead requires that all written premarital or marital agreements entered at any time between the parties of the marriage be declared. The final component is child or spousal support. Child support is an ongoing periodic payment made by a parent for the financial benefit of a child following the end of a marriage or other similar relationship. Spousal support, also called alimony, is a financial support made by one ex-spouse to another. It can include one-time payments or regular payments for a set duration of time. Any order directing a party to pay or receive spousal or child support due to the ongoing dissolution of marriage must be brought forth during mandatory disclosure. Thank you for watching this video, and for any legal help within the family law field, please visit our website at vlcelaw.com.